Greetings and appreciation for tuning into my channel, CryptoQ Media. Anyone who has been involved in the cryptocurrency industry for any length of time knows how nerve-wracking it can be, since you can never predict what Vladimir Putin would say regarding cryptocurrencies. Never before has Putin or Russia taken such a stance on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, or his personal views on XRP. Various parts of the cryptocurrency sector will soon be legalized across the country, and we'll take a look at Putin's and Russia's recent pronouncements and forthcoming legislation in this video. This is a huge deal because it implies that Russian investors will pour hundreds of billions of dollars into the cryptocurrency market right now, and maybe even trillions of dollars down the road. Conversely, a myriad of doors are opening up all around the globe. There will likely be a dramatic increase in the use of XRP and Bitcoin in the next years in a number of countries, notably the Middle East and China. If you agree that it sounds nice, then we can start by having everyone hit the like button. I recently stumbled upon this tweet, and it started this whole issue. Putin has signed a new measure into law that legalizes Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining in Russia. Fascinating, but not surprising, given that Putin had voiced his worries about the potential blackout of the electrical system in July in relation to Russia's full adoption of Bitcoin mining. Along those lines, he brought up something today. Guess what? I dug a little deeper because this is a great suggestion. I was perplexed as to why Putin made this change. The answer is actually rather simple, as it turns out. Due to Russia's vast oil and gas deposits on their continent, all of Europe used to rely on Russia for energy. As is well knowledge, this grants them access to considerable power. Russia has started exporting its energy since then, and a lot has changed, but one important thing has stayed the same. Russia is losing energy by releasing methane into the atmosphere, a vital resource, even while it is benefiting from this oil. Furthermore, by running a Bitcoin mining business, these oil and gas corporations can convert their excess methane into a potentially large profit. Furthermore, Russia can acquire a substantial amount of Bitcoin, which could offer them global influence due to the cryptocurrency's rising popularity. You might be wondering how XRP fits into this whole. In what ways does this pertain to alternative digital currencies? In a nutshell, everything. I think we can all agree that Bitcoin was the catalyst that set off the whole crypto revolution. When I initially heard about Bitcoin in 2013, I tried to get some. Back then, I couldn't make head or tail of it because of how complicated it was. I finally got around to buying Bitcoin in 2015, which was a couple years later, and it was the first cryptocurrency I ever owned. Most of you have probably been in a similar situation. You were interested in buying Bitcoin or Ethereum at first, but then you discovered XRP and everything fell into place. Since Bitcoin has received so much attention, most of you likely become aware of XRP much later. However, he isn't just signing a Bitcoin agreement, you know. He is also quite forthright about crypto mining. Furthermore, there are other additional cryptocurrencies that execute a comparable purpose more effectively than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is far from being the sole cryptocurrency using a proof-of-work mechanism. There are other cryptocurrencies that people should utilize more often. As people discover this, Bitcoin's price will fall, even if it is necessary for billions of people throughout the world. Would I be right because it was the first? Bitcoin also got all of the seed money. Afterwards, we saw Solana and BNB come out of hiding and reach massive market valuations. Dudes, that is simply the logic behind trickle-down economics. Of course, this isn't the only thing happening in Russia. There's a lot more. Payment and cryptocurrency exchange testing is also soon to start. Does this really describe what I mean? Russian science policy under Putin's presidency. Bitcoin mining is, in fact, a cost. It seemed alright to me, didn't it? We are capable of accomplishing this. It generates hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. Amazing. At the same time, a lot of people are starting to question if there aren't any other cryptocurrency options out there. Putin, I have a question, how are we going to use those? The court system is presently reviewing the situation. Cryptocurrencies of all kinds will eventually be available for purchase by Russians. The Russian parliament approved cryptocurrencies mining legal tender in July and established protocols for the central bank to monitor the evaluation of digital tokens for cross-border payments. A legislation is signed into law by President Vladimir Putin on August 8. Russian companies are facing growing challenges when it comes to paying their international suppliers and obtaining payment for their exported goods. The crypto experiment is concurrent with this. It will begin to ring true after repeated exposure. International wire transfers, OK, companies are forced to do this regardless of what the central bank says. This is the XRP ledger's entire purpose, I swear. I don't think my American friends need me to explain it, I think you get it. For obvious reasons, Bitcoin isn't great for sending money abroad. With the United States Central Bank and sanctions cutting off Russia's access to global markets, what cryptocurrency options are left besides XRP? This is a huge deal for these companies, therefore you should be ecstatic about them. Because of that one, Russia is feeling pressured to start creating. This opens the door to discussing cryptocurrencies, but it's also a signal to Russia that they can profit greatly from this if they can find a method to sell their oil to countries like China and Europe while evading US sanctions. The United States will not tolerate it. Even if Russia does this, the country stands to gain significant wealth as a result. Join them is a valid response if you feel you can't compete with them. That is precisely what is going to happen here. Russia is rapidly catching up to the rest of the world in the fight for Bitcoin's broad acceptance. Just a few days ago, on August 8, this was passed into law, and now things are heating up. This has been covered extensively in the news, especially on DL News. With Russia's crypto shift, they wonder how Putin might avoid sanctions and reduce Russia's reliance on the dollar. We can assume it's not that difficult after all. A decentralized network's simplicity is its greatest strength, isn't it? There is no overarching authority that will say, "No, Russia, you can't use this, so stop trying." Each of us should be prepared for the possibility that the government will try to step in. Is everything fine? Please keep in mind something that occurred not long ago. Did they detain Pavel Durov? He was apprehended. Events on his decentralized, encrypted messaging application, Telegram, ultimately resulted in his incarceration. "Oh, there are child busters on your site promoting horrible information," the French authorities essentially replied. "You're currently in jail because you're liable for this, aren't you?" However, their true motivation was a sense of helplessness in the face of that monster. Other cryptocurrency networks will likely experience the same thing. What will happen if Russia starts using them to evade the US central bank is somewhat similar. Authorities are likely to apprehend those in charge of these cryptocurrency projects. Things are going to turn ugly if the US attempt to reroute the issue through a backdoor fails. In our fight for justice, we must not let up. Even Ripple, under Kamala's leadership, might face legal trouble, in my opinion. Because their political opponents are the target of their sanctions and warmongering efforts. They will also likely go after anybody who provides their political opponent with a system, whether it's directly or indirectly. Both Pavel Durov and Gary Gensler have experienced this when chasing a Ripple. Of course, there are a great many more examples like this. No matter how you slice it, the end result is a war. We need to be ready to take on and overcome a task. We are quite grateful for the viewers' presence here. If you're new to my channel and have just subscribed, I appreciate it. Until then, take care.